Hello, and welcome to That's Just Human, a podcast that explores all aspects of being human, living in a human body, and having human experiences. I'm your host, Elisha Lightangel, and by day, I'm a massage therapist. Like you, I happen to live in a human body and have a plethora of human experiences. So, I am doing a solo podcast today, and I got inspired for this topic because of the story that I am about to share with you that happened this last Sunday at church. So it had been raining, and I drive into church. Our parking lot's full, but we have some grass on the other side of the parking lot. And whenever it's full, I typically will just go and park on the grass. So I did on this particular day after a few days of rain. You might see where this is going. And bebop into church, do the whole service. And I was even a little late leaving that day. Fortunately, there were other people that were staying for a group that meets after service that day. And I go to back out. Lo and behold, on this nice, soft, wet ground, my car had sunk in a little bit. So it wasn't moving anywhere. And I did as any normal person might when you're sitting in that chair of your driver's seat. And I think, well, maybe if I go forward, it's because I'm going backward. If I go forward, it'll help. Did not help. Tried back and forth a little bit, making it worse. So I get out, I look at it and go, well, there's definitely no way I'm going to be able to get my car out of the mud by myself. So I take a few moments and a few deep breaths, and then I go inside to see if maybe there's some people in there that can help push my car, and together we can get my car out of the mud. So it's all women at the time. And we're like, yeah, we can do this. So literally there are 6 of us, 1 person in the driver's seat, 5 of us trying to push the car. And we're doing that whole motion, push, back, rock the car, push it. Come on, guys, we can get this stuck out the mud. We're finding bricks to put under the tires. Somebody had a bunch of cardboard in their car that they were going to recycle, and they're like, hey, I have this cardboard. So we're like sticking that under the tires. Literally, we're trying everything. So after several minutes of really trying to push and heave-ho with all the might that we have in us, this car is just not wanting to budge. And we relent that we may have to call a tow truck. So somebody gets in on that conversation with AAA, and they're like, I'm going to use my AAA, and we'll just say that it's my car that's stuck. They don't have to know it's a different person. And they're working on that when another person says, you know what? I'm looking at the tires here, and I really think if we give it just one more go, like maybe we can make this happen. So at this point, there's actually less of us pushing the car, but I got the idea to push the car from a different area, from the side, where the window's down and you kind of push at the door frame, while other people were at the front of the car trying to push it backwards. And somehow we managed to dislodge my car from the mud, and we didn't need AAA to send out a tow truck to come and help me out. It took several of us, and it took some strength, and my body was definitely feeling it for the next couple of days. My shoulders, my pecs, areas that I don't apparently typically use when I'm doing normal activities. I was very aware of all of those spots. But getting stuck in the mud gave me the idea about how we get stuck in the mud in our lives, metaphorically, in so many different ways. And I know I've been stuck in the mud before, whether that's emotionally or spiritually, just, different ways that we get stuck in our life. So getting stuck in the mud physically is a great analogy to how we can get stuck and be unable to move forward. in other areas of our lives without having to go and ask for help, which is really hard. I know. But um, if you think about it, like maybe you had a situation and you have a lot of emotional upheaval about it. It could be a loss, it could be grief, it could be a transition that is happening in life, and there's just so much internal chaos happening that your ability to move on in that area emotionally, or even in other areas of your life, it's almost like you're paralyzed. Like if our feet, not a car, but our feet were physically stuck in the mud, what are you going to do? You're just standing there. You can't do anything. And I think about that. Like, what would I do if I had been physically stuck in the mud and couldn't pull myself out? That is a situation where I need help, but then I would have to be patiently waiting or impatiently, however, either which way, I would have to wait for somebody to come along that would recognize that I needed help or that I could call out for and that I needed help. So being in the situation where it was my vehicle that moves me forward that was stuck in the mud, and I still have the ability to move my own physical being, I had the ability then to go and ask for people to help me out in the situation. I think in life you could maybe have something that is more like your vehicle, something that's carrying you forward, and maybe that feels stuck. But then there's other times where you might feel like your beingness is stuck and you're having to wait for somebody else to come along. So, in emotionally, you could be feel overwhelmed with sadness or anger or guilt or anything that makes finding a happy moment hard. Anything that is jolting, finding joy that maybe you once had or a spark that was once there in your life. And all of that's diminished. That might be a point where you're metaphorically stuck in the mud. Mentally, you could be going through all sorts of thought cycles. I think we all do it. And when we get into negative thought cycles, every time you have that negative thought loop right back around in your head, you come up with some kind of internal bias to reinforce the negative thoughts that you already had and make the negative thought worse. So that ruminating over whatever it is causing a mental paralysis, if you will, that stuckness. And then you can't move forward because you're stuck in these thoughts. And getting yourself out of those thoughts may take somebody else to help you shift where it is. Sure, you can try doing it by yourself, but how hard is that? How hard would it be to try and dislodge yourself fully out of the mud if that was physical? So it happens mentally too. Spiritually, you could be questioning beliefs that you've had your entire life, not knowing which direction to go. Maybe you have an entirely new paradigm that has come and changed your worldview or your cosmological view, and you're grappling with this internally because you don't know what's true or where your sense of purpose is or where your faith lies or where your belief lies. That can be a spiritual paralysis, a spiritual stuck in the mud. On a practical, just everyday level, it could be things like struggling to get back to your daily routines. And it could be these other areas, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual things that are happening internally that are causing you not to be able to do some of the practical stuff in your life. You're not able to do work or go to work and participate in the way that you have been. So maybe you're calling in or taking personal days or whatever it is, but you feel stinted in that area. It's a daily requirement of you that you almost can't seem to get there. Social activities, forget them. Those aren't happening when you're stuck in the mud. You're going through so many other things that this isn't going to be happening. You are immobilized by grief. You're immobilized by the thoughts that are running through your mind. You're immobilized by whatever is happening in your own internal environment. So all of these are representations of other areas in your life that you can feel like you are stuck in the mud. You are paralyzed. What happens? You have to find help. When we are stuck in the mud, we are going through these paralyses of life. There is no other option but to rely on the people that are surrounding you. And asking for help is really, 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 really hard. You know? Um, I know for myself it's been hard, and pretty much everybody that I have spoken with in my life and had discussions around this, asking for help is hard. It feels like you're having to relinquish some kind of power that maybe you thought you were holding on to. There are feelings of doubt and worthlessness and all sorts of things that our brain comes up with to tell us because we had to ask for help. But if you think about it, if you're in the position and somebody is asking you for help, do you want to help them if you have the capability to? And so if your answer is yes, then think about when you're asking somebody else for help, maybe they also would like to ask for help. A lot of people enjoy helping those around them for a variety of different reasons. But when we help others, it gives us a sense of worth. It helps us to value ourselves more. There's just some good feelings. We get like probably a dopamine hit or something when we help another person out. That feels good internally. You know that you helped another person, so it feels good for that person to have moved through a situation that it is. And if we reframe when we're asking for help as this is a good thing and it's not a moment of weakness, it's not anything negative on you. It's literally just part of life and the human experience that you will have times where you need help from other people, and it's okay to ask for help. My late best friend got cancer, and she let people know when it happened, and people rose up and helped. But there were points where she didn't want people to know everything that was going on, or when it got worse, she didn't want people to know that things were getting worse. And while I can't speak for what was going on internally with her, I would imagine there's some bits of shame when you're undergoing a health crisis that you have no control, even though you're doing everything that you can to try and help your body to move beyond this point. So watching her not want to ask for help and then eventually relinquishing to whatever was internally telling her not to and letting the word get out that she needed help, I saw so many people rise up to go and help her. It was mind-blowing. It was one of the most beautiful things that I have seen with the amount of people that had stepped up, people that she had touched in positive ways in their lives, and the effect that she had on so many different people because of the amazing person that she was. And she's left a legacy in this world because of the amazingness that she was. But people stepped up to help in whatever way that they could, and they were really happy to come and help. And it really showed me how much humanity, compassion, empathy that we have for one another, especially when it's somebody in our lives, somebody that we know. And it might not be somebody that you know super well that comes to help you out. It could be somebody that you just got acquainted with. I have found in my own life that people show up to help when I've not asked before, and it's never the people that I would have thought to ask. And sometimes the people that we do ask are not the ones that are capable of helping in our times of need. And it's been a big lesson to just allow an openness and a surrender to let the universe work its own magic of putting people in place to be there to help when help is needed, and not to try to control on who that's going to be, or to get mad because maybe my best friend or a family member or somebody that I thought I could rely on wasn't able to help me in that moment. And letting go of any of those emotions and being okay with that, and then coming to a terms of gratitude for whoever is able to show up and to help in that time of need. I've even seen acts of people coming together to help a person out. Like, this is another stuck in the mud story. So I've gone to burns. If you don't know what a burn is, think Burning Man, but I've gone to regionals, which are significantly smaller. And the first one that I went to, it was raining a lot. And so there was like mud, people were getting their cars stuck. And, they have roads, which are mostly pedestrians walking on them, but when there's cars in and out, there's cars driving on them. And I watched a car get stuck in the mud. And as seamlessly as this happened, and I'm watching about 10 different people, pedestrians walking on the road, observe person stuck in the mud, go over, and within a few seconds have this person pushed out of the mud and back onto the road, going to where they need to go. Then they all just meandered back. No lingering around it. Nobody even knew this person that was in the car. They just stopped. And I witnessed the beauty of humanity in that moment. That we have the ability to help another person out. We have the ability to help out people we don't know. We can't help everybody out all the time, because we're not always in that position. Sometimes we're in the position where we're the ones that are needing help. We're the ones that are stuck in the mud. We're the ones that need a random stranger to just take note, come over, assist with a little bit of what they have, but only if that's good for them. So, these are some ways that we get stuck in the mud. When we are, it throws all sorts of different challenges at us. We feel immobilized, because we literally are. We feel overwhelmed. We are facing different emotional setbacks. It could be relationship issues or obstacles. The feelings like frustration, anger, helplessness, just overwhelm. All these different things go through us when we get into that spot. So when you find yourself in a spot in life where you are paralyzed and can't move forward, where you're metaphorically stuck in that mud, whether it's emotionally or mentally or spiritually or any other way, reach out for help. In order to do that, you have to first acknowledge the situation. And with the things that are metaphorical, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to be able to evaluate the situation and be real with yourself. And so that's like the first step. And saying, here's where I am. I'm having it really hard with X, Y, and Z, and I need help. So once you've come to your own internal process with this, then you can take the action of reaching out to friends, family, acquaintances, or just people that are around you. Whoever you feel safe to reach out to, do that. And some people, remember, are going to be able to help you, and some people will not. So keep reaching out until you find the person that has the capability and what it is that you need to help. So you can have somebody that wants to help, but maybe they don't have the tools to help you. And so they can't help you in the ways that you need. So you may have to search for that person. Be specific when you're asking for help, especially if it's something emotional or you need to vent or maybe you want advice. Let the person know when you're talking to them what it is that you need from them. I need you to just be a listening ear for me. I need a crying shoulder. I need a little bit of advice. Kind of like those, am I the asshole? Tell me in this situation what your opinion is, and, you know, help me get out of this thought process. Help me find a different perspective. I love different people for that. I love having conversations because other people have different life experiences and a whole different way of processing information in their head. And their perspective could be something that I had never even given thought to or would have if they hadn't have shared it with me. When you are specific and you have clarity around what it is you need, then you're more likely to find the people out there that have the ability to help you in that way. If you're just asking for help and you're not clear, then people don't know what you need. They don't know if they have the capability to help you. And then you're probably not going to get help because it's ambiguous and it's vague. You might think you need help in one way, but be open to however it is that people are able to help you. So you might have somebody that can show you emotional support, and maybe there's another person in your life that isn't very good of an emotional support, but maybe they have some monetary support if you're in a financial pickle, or somebody can give you a different type of support. So just look for that and be open and grateful for what each person has to offer you. Keep in mind that whatever it is, it's going to take small steps. So just like when I was stuck in that mud, it was like inch by inch. When you're walking a car back and forth, you're making a little bit of progress. And eventually there's like the whoosh that gets you out. But it feels like not a lot of progress, even if you're slowly inching that vehicle out from where it is. So maybe in life, you're slowly inching out of where you are, and one day you're going to have that blast that you get over it. But there's a patience of going through that process, and it doesn't always feel good. And that's okay, because that's part of life, right? So when you ask for help, practice humility and being vulnerable when you're asking, being clear with what you want. You might want to practice what you're going to ask the person, the way that you want to phrase it or say it, if that helps you feel a little bit more comfortable in the way that you're asking. It's figuring out the right person or the right resources that are going to get you to that. And sometimes you might ask the wrong ones, and being open to how your help's going to come to you, just let that be part of the process and accept that no, I can't help you, and go on to the next person instead of giving up in defeat. Because if you're anything like me, you can ask like one or two people and they're like, oh, well, they didn't help. And so I guess I'm just doomed. I'm going to be stuck here forever. And then that leads down a whole other negative thought process, right? So you can do this. You can ask for help, because that's the only way you're going to get unstuck from an area that you're in your life, because we can't do everything all on our own, even if you can do quite a bit on your own. When you've experienced being stuck in the mud and then getting unstuck, there's a lot of lessons that come in there for you. They're going to be different lessons depending on what's causing you to be stuck in life. And it could be something where you need healing for something that's happened to you in your childhood or your past. It could be something that's happened recently and you're just needing to get over that hump or that hurdle that feels very daunting to you in this particular moment in time. But you can look back and you can see that you were in a place and you're not in a place anymore. You can evaluate where you were and where you are now. And did that bring you any more self-awareness? Does it bring you some resiliency? I would definitely say resiliency comes into play because you stuck it through, stuck it through being stuck in the mud. Yes, it brings new perspectives. You get to learn a little bit more patience and perseverance, regardless of what the situation is. And you get to experience receiving help. And if you happen to be the person that's always out there helping people, then receiving help is exactly what you need to help you in this process. And maybe that in and of itself is part of your lesson, is that you had to learn how to ask for help, how to be okay with being in a place where you needed help, and then accepting that from people and knowing that there's nothing less of you for being in that place. So let's all just open our hearts a little bit, being empathetic when we see somebody else that's maybe a little stuck in a place in their life or they're not being able to push past and push forward. If you have tools and resources that you can help somebody out, awesome. If you don't, then be a cheerleader from afar and know that there's going to be something else maybe you can do to help them in their life or to be that friend that you want to be. We are all moving about doing different things in our lives and accomplishing different goals and working on different stuff. So sometimes we're moving right along, sometimes we're stuck, sometimes we're just moving slowly. It's all different depending on your own individual human experience. And all of it is just being human, like my podcast, that's just human. So these are my thoughts for today. And I want you to know that you are absolutely right where you need to be, whether that's full on moving ahead, at a stall point, or even stuck. Because when you get stuck, eventually you'll be unstuck and you get to look back and see all of the amazing growth that you've had. Even though being stuck sucks, I know, but eventually there is growth. If you enjoy listening to this, please like or share the episode with anybody you think would benefit from this. You can hop onto YouTube, leave me some comments, and I'll comment back and help me get this out there to anybody that would enjoy little nuggets of wisdom in their life as they go along their life journey. So as you embrace your humanness, be kind, be you, and remember, everything is part of the journey.